Maya Thompson wiped the sweat from her face as she looked around her small pizza shop. The day had been long, and only 3 customers had come in. She sighed and wondered if opening a pizza place on New Geneva Station was a good idea. The space station was huge. It floated in deep space between Earth and the alien worlds. Humans had built it as a place where different species could meet and trade. Maya had saved money for years to open her shop here. She wanted to share real Earth pizza with aliens who had never tasted it before. Her shop was in the lower part of the station. This area was cheaper to rent, but it was also where many poor aliens lived. Some humans called it the Alien District and stayed away. Maya did not care. She believed good food could bring anyone together. As evening came, Maya started cleaning her kitchen. Tomorrow would be another day of hoping for customers. She had enough money to stay open for 2 more months. After that, she would have to go back to Earth. A soft knock on the door made her look up. Through the glass, she saw a tall, thin figure in a dark cloak. The person looked lost and tired. Maya opened the door. "We're still open," she said with a smile. The figure pulled back her hood. Maya gasped softly. It was an elf. The elf had long, silver hair and pointed ears. Her skin was pale and smooth like marble. Her eyes were bright green and seemed very old, even though she looked young. She wore expensive clothes that looked like they came from another world. "I am not here to eat," the elf said. Her voice was musical but cold. "I am looking for the diplomatic quarters. I seem to have taken a wrong turn." Maya noticed the elf's hands were shaking slightly. "You look tired," she said, "and hungry. Why don't you come in and rest? I can give you directions after you eat something." The elf looked around the empty street. She was clearly lost. After a moment, she stepped inside. "I suppose I could rest for a few minutes," she said. "I'm Maya," the human said, closing the door behind them. "What's your name?" "Lyra Lay Starweaver," the elf replied. She looked around. The small restaurant with curious eyes. The walls were covered with pictures of Earth. Red and white checkered tablecloths covered the tables. It smelled like cheese and herbs. Maya led her to a table near the window. "What kind of food do you usually eat?" she asked. "Elves eat only the finest foods," Lyra said. "We prefer delicate flavors and fresh ingredients prepared in traditional ways. I doubt you have anything suitable for my people." Maya smiled. "Well, let me surprise you. I'll make you my special pizza. It's on the house." Lyra wanted to say no, but her stomach growled loudly. She had not eaten since morning. The diplomatic meetings had run long, and she had missed dinner. "Very well," she said, "but I do not expect much from human food." Maya went to her kitchen and started working. She rolled out fresh dough and spun it in the air. She spread her special tomato sauce on top, then added cheese and pepperoni. The smell filled the small restaurant. Lyra watched through the kitchen window. She had never seen anyone make food like this before. Maya moved with joy and skill. She clearly loved what she was doing. When the pizza came out of the oven, Maya cut it into slices and brought it to the table. The cheese was still bubbling. Steam rose from the hot bread. "Try it," Maya said, sitting across from her. Lyra picked up a slice carefully. She took a small bite. Her eyes went wide with surprise. The flavors were rich and complex. The bread was soft but crispy. The cheese was creamy and the meat was spicy. It was nothing like what she expected. "This is very good," she admitted. Maya's face lit up. "Really? I'm so glad you like it." As they ate, Maya asked questions about Elven culture. Lyra found herself talking more than she planned. Maya was a good listener. She asked smart questions and seemed truly interested in learning. "Why did you open a restaurant here?" Lyra asked. "I wanted to show aliens what human food could be," Maya said. "Food brings people together. When you share a meal with someone, you learn about them. You start to understand them." Lyra thought about this. In Elven society, meals were formal events. They had rules about who could eat with whom. The idea of sharing food with strangers was very unusual. Suddenly, there was a loud thud outside. Through the window, they saw someone fall to the ground, near the door. It was an alien unlike any Lyra had ever seen. Maya jumped up and ran outside. Lirale followed slowly. The alien was about Maya's size, but very thin. She had blue-green skin that looked like it could glow. 4 arms hung limply at her sides. Large, clear wings were folded on her back. Her eyes were huge and black. "Help me get her inside," Maya said, already lifting the alien's shoulders. "Wait," Lirale said. "You don't know who this is. She could be dangerous." Maya looked at her with surprise. "She's hurt and hungry, that's all I need to know." Together they carried the alien into the restaurant. Maya laid her on a soft couch in the corner. She brought water and a warm cloth. The alien's eyes opened slowly. When she saw Maya, she tried to speak, but only musical sounds came out. "It's okay," Maya said softly. "You're safe now. Are you hungry?" The alien nodded weakly. Maya went to get food. Lirale stood by the door, unsure what to do. She had never been this close to such a strange alien before. In diplomatic meetings, there were always tables and formal distance, but as she watched Maya care for the stranger, something stirred in Lirale's heart. She had never seen such kindness given so freely. Maya asked for nothing in return. She did not even know if the alien could pay. The alien ate slowly, making grateful musical sounds. Maya smiled and patted her hand gently. "You can stay here tonight, if you need to," Maya said. "I have a small room in the back." Lirale stared at the human. This was not how her people acted. Elves were careful about who they helped. They had rules and procedures. They did not invite strangers to sleep in their homes, but Maya seemed to think it was the most natural thing in the world. As the night grew late, Lirale realized she had missed her diplomatic dinner completely. Her ambassador would be angry, but she found she did not care. Something about this small pizza shop felt more important than all the formal meetings she attended. When she finally left, Maya walked her to the door. "Thank you for the pizza," Lirale said. "It was unexpected." "Come back any time," Maya said with a warm smile. "You're always welcome here." Walking back to her hotel, Lirale could not stop thinking about what she had seen. A human had shown more kindness to a stranger in one evening than most elves showed in a lifetime. She touched her stomach, still full of delicious pizza, and wondered if everything she believed about humans might be wrong. The next morning, Lirale told herself she would not go back to the pizza shop. She had important work to do. The Elven Trade Council was meeting to discuss whether humans deserved to stay in the galactic community. As a diplomatic attaché, she needed to focus on her duties, but by afternoon, she found her feet carrying her toward the lower district. She told herself it was for research. She needed to understand human culture better to write her report. When she reached Maya's shop, she saw the blue-green alien from the night before sitting at a table by the window. The alien looked much better. Her skin had a soft glow, and her wings moved slowly like she was breathing through them. Maya was sitting across from her, pointing at pictures in a book. They seemed to be trying to communicate. Lirale pushed open the door. A small bell rang above her head. "Lirale," Maya said with a bright smile. "I'm so glad you came back. Come meet Zara." The alien looked up. When she saw Lirale, she made a series of musical sounds that rose and fell like a song. Her name is Zaraka Thresh, Maya explained. "She's a Zephyrian. I've been trying to help her learn some basic station language." Lirale sat down carefully. She had heard of Zephyrians before, but only in reports. Their planet had been destroyed in the Hegemony War 3 years ago. Very few had survived. "She's a refugee," Maya continued. "She escaped on a transport ship, but she doesn't have any credits or identification papers. The station authorities don't know what to do with her." Lirale felt uncomfortable. She remembered the council meetings where the elven delegates had voted against helping in the Hegemony War. They said it was not their concern. Now she was sitting across from one of the survivors. Maya brought Lirale a slice of cheese pizza, without being asked. "I thought you might be hungry," she said. As Lirale ate, more customers came into the shop. A large, furry alien with 4 arms ordered 3 pizzas. A human man in work clothes asked for coffee and a sandwich. A family of small, blue aliens shared 1 large pizza among 6 people. Lirale watched how Maya treated everyone the same. She smiled at the furry alien even though he spoke in growls. She gave the human worker extra food when she noticed his tired eyes. She cut the family's pizza into extra small pieces so the children could hold them. "This is Corvin," Maya said, introducing the furry alien to Lyrelei. "He runs a trading ship, and this is Pete," she pointed to the human worker. "He fixes the air systems that keep us all breathing." Corvin growled something that sounded friendly. Pete nodded and smiled. They all seemed to know each other well. "Maya feeds half the district," Pete said with a laugh. "She's the reason this place feels like home instead of just a space station." The small blue family finished eating and started to leave. The father tried to pay, but Maya waved him away. "Your credits are no good here today," she said. "It's your daughter's birthday, right? Birthday meals are free." The little blue girl made happy chirping sounds. Her family bowed deeply before leaving. Lyrelei was confused. "How do you make money if you give away so much food?" Maya shrugged. "I make enough, and everyone helps when they can. Corvin brings me spices from other worlds. Pete fixed my ovens for free. The Pleiadian family taught me how to make their traditional bread." Zara made musical sounds and pointed at herself, then at the kitchen. "Zara's been helping me clean," Maya translated. "She's very good at organizing, and her people have amazing senses. She can tell exactly when the pizza is perfectly cooked just by the smell." As the afternoon went on, Lyrelei noticed something strange. People from different species were talking to each other, not just ordering food but having real conversations. The shop felt like a community center. She watched Pete show Corvin pictures of his daughter on Earth. She saw the Pleiadian children teaching human kids a clapping game. Most surprising of all, she saw how everyone tried to include Zara, even though they could not understand her language. When Commander Lisa Park walked in, everyone greeted her like an old friend. "Maya, we need to talk," Lisa said. She looked serious. Maya led her to a quiet table. Lyrelei could not help but listen. "Some of the other business owners are complaining," Lisa said quietly. "They say you're attracting too many aliens to the district. They want me to do something about it." Maya's face grew sad. "Are you going to shut me down?" "No," Lisa said firmly. "But I wanted to warn you. There's going to be pressure from above. Some people think mixing species like this is dangerous." "Dangerous?" Maya looked around at her customers. "Look at them, Lisa. They're just people trying to live their lives." Lisa nodded. "I know. I've been getting requests from all over the station. Other aliens asking where they can find the human kindness place. That's what they're calling your shop." After Lisa left, Maya sat down with Lyrelei and Zara. She looked worried. "I don't understand," Maya said. "I'm just serving food. How is that dangerous?" Lyrelei thought carefully before speaking. "Some people fear what they don't understand. When they see different species getting along, it challenges their beliefs. But that's good, right?" Maya asked. "Understanding each other is good." "Not everyone thinks so," Lyrelei said sadly. "My own people believe that mixing with other species weakens our culture." Zara made a long, sad song of sounds. Somehow, without understanding the words, they all knew she was talking about loss and fear. Maya reached over and took Zara's hand. "You're not alone anymore," she said. Lyrelei watched this simple gesture. In elven culture, touching someone from another species was considered inappropriate, but Maya made it seem natural and caring. As evening came, Lyrelei realized she had spent the entire day in the pizza shop. She had missed 2 diplomatic meetings. Her supervisor would want to know where she had been, but she had learned more about humans in one day than in months of formal meetings. She had seen how they built community through small acts of kindness. She had watched them accept differences instead of fearing them. When Lyrelei finally got up to leave, Maya walked her to the door again. "Thank you for spending the day with us," Maya said. "Zara liked having someone else to talk to. Even if you couldn't understand her language, how do you know what she's thinking?" Lyrelei asked. Maya smiled. "You don't need words to understand kindness, or fear, or gratitude. Those feelings are the same for everyone." As Lyrelei walked back to her hotel, she thought about Maya's words. She thought about Zara's musical language and Pete's tired smile. She thought about the way everyone in the pizza shop seemed to belong there. For the first time in her long life, Lyreley wondered if her people might be wrong about something important. Maybe strength did not come from staying separate and pure. Maybe it came from building bridges between different worlds. She touched her stomach, still full of cheese pizza, and realized she was already looking forward to tomorrow's visit to the shop. Even though she told herself it was still for research, she knew the truth was more complicated than that. Something was changing inside her, and she was not sure she wanted it to stop. 3 days later, Lyreley was helping Zara practice writing human letters when her communicator buzzed with an urgent message. Her supervisor, Ambassador Sylvanus Goldleaf, was coming to inspect her work. Lyreley felt her stomach drop. She had not been to any official meetings since she started visiting Maya's pizza shop. She had not written any reports about human diplomatic weaknesses. Instead, she had been learning to flip pizza dough and helping Zara learn basic station language. "You look worried," Maya said, noticing her expression. "My boss is coming," Lyreley said. "He wants to know what I've been doing here." Zara made concerned musical sounds. Over the past few days, the three women had developed their own way of communicating. Zara's songs had different tones for different emotions. "Will you get in trouble?" Maya asked. Before Lyreley could answer, the door chimed. Ambassador Sylvanus Goldleaf walked in. He was tall and elegant, wearing formal robes that marked his high rank. His silver hair was pulled back severely, and his green eyes were cold. He looked around the pizza shop with obvious disgust. His nose wrinkled at the smell of cooking cheese. When he saw Zara, his expression became even more disapproving. "Lyreley," he said in the Elven language. "Explain yourself." Lyreley stood up straight. "Ambassador, I am conducting cultural research, as assigned." "This is not research," Sylvanus said, still speaking Elven. "This is fraternization with lesser beings. You have missed important meetings. The Council expects your report on human weaknesses, not whatever this is." Maya and Zara watched the conversation, not understanding the words, but clearly sensing the tension. "Perhaps we should speak privately," Lyreley suggested. "No," Sylvanus said, switching to common station language. "These creatures should hear this. You will stop coming here immediately. You will complete your real assignment and prepare to return home." Maya stepped forward. "Excuse me, but this is my restaurant. If you want to have a business meeting, you should order something or leave." Sylvanus stared at her with amazement. "You dare to speak to an Elven ambassador that way?" "I speak to everyone the same way," Maya said calmly. "With respect, until they prove they don't deserve it." "The human shows her true nature," Sylvanus told Lyreley. "Rude and presumptuous. This is why our people voted against allowing them into the galactic community." Lyreley felt anger rising in her chest. "These humans have shown me more genuine kindness than I have seen in decades of Elven diplomacy." "Kindness?" Sylvanus laughed, coldly. "This is manipulation. They want something from you. Humans always do." Before anyone could respond, Commander Lisa Park burst through the door. Her face was serious and worried. "Maya, we have a problem," she said. "The Station Council just passed new regulations. All businesses in the lower district have to register as either human-only or alien-only establishments. Mixed businesses will be shut down." "What?" Maya sat down heavily. "But that's not fair. This is supposed to be a place where everyone can meet." Lisa nodded grimly. "The vote was close, but it passed. Some of the larger human corporations pushed for it. They said mixed businesses create cultural contamination." Sylvanus smiled with satisfaction. "You see? Even your own people recognize the problem with mixing species." Lyreley felt sick. She knew the Elven Council had been working behind the scenes to influence this decision. They wanted to prove that humans could not handle diversity. "When does this take effect?" Maya asked. "1 week," Lisa said. "I'm sorry, Maya. I fought against it, but I was outvoted." Zara began making distressed musical sounds. She understood enough to know her safe place was being taken away. After Lisa left, the shop fell into sad silence. Maya stared at her hands. Zara's wings drooped. Even the regular customers who came in for dinner could sense something was wrong. "I have to choose," Maya said finally. "Human only or alien only." "Choose human only," Sylvanus said. "At least then you can stay in business." Maya looked at him with surprise. "That's not a choice. That's giving up everything I believe in." "Beliefs don't pay rent," Sylvanus pointed out. Maybe not, Maya said, but they help me sleep at night. Lyrelei watched Maya clean tables with unusual force. She saw how the human woman's kindness had created something beautiful here. People from different worlds had learned to see each other as friends instead of strangers. And now it was all going to be destroyed. That night, Lyrelei lay awake thinking. She could follow her ambassador's orders, complete her assignment, and go home. She could pretend she had never seen what real community looked like, or she could do something that would change her life forever. The next morning, she found Maya in the kitchen, stress baking bread at 5 in the morning. I'm going to fight this, Maya said without looking up. I'm going to organize a protest. People need to hear what this law really means. The station council won't change their minds easily, Lyrelei warned. Maybe not, Maya said. But I have to try. This isn't just about my business. It's about what kind of place we want New Geneva Station to be. Zara arrived early, carrying a bag of cleaning supplies. She had been staying in the shop's back room since she had nowhere else to go. When she saw Maya's worried face, she began singing a soft, comforting song. She's asking if she can help, Lyrelei translated. Over the past few days, she had started to understand some of Zara's musical language. Tell her she can help by being herself, Maya said. People need to see that aliens aren't scary monsters. They're just people trying to live their lives. As customers began arriving for breakfast, word spread about the new regulations. Pete the repair worker was angry. Corvin the trader was confused. The Pleiadian family looked scared. Where will we go? Asked the Pleiadian father. This was the only place that felt safe for our children. Lyrelei watched Maya comfort each customer. She promised to fight the law. She promised not to give up. But Lyrelei could see the worry in her eyes. When Ambassador Sylvanus arrived that afternoon, he found Lyrelei serving pizza to a table full of different species. This ends now, he said firmly. You will come with me immediately. No, Lyrelei said quietly. What did you say? I said no. Lyrelei stood up straighter. I will not abandon these people. These are not your people, Sylvanus said. Your people are waiting for you to remember your duty. Lyrelei looked around the pizza shop. She saw Maya teaching a young Corvin how to stretch dough. She saw Zara helping Pete translate a joke for the Pleiadian children. She saw beings from across the galaxy sharing food and laughter. Maybe it's time for me to choose new people, she said. Sylvanus's eyes went wide with shock. You would betray your own species for these mongrels. I would choose kindness over prejudice, Lyrelei said. I would choose community over isolation. Then you are no longer welcome among the elves, Sylvanus said coldly. You will be stripped of your diplomatic status. You will be exiled. Lyrelei felt fear and sadness, but also something else. Relief. Then I guess I'll need to find a new job, she said. She looked at Maya. Are you hiring? Maya's face broke into a huge smile. Always. As Sylvanus stormed out, the whole restaurant erupted in cheers. Customers who had been listening hugged Lyrelei and welcomed her to their community. But their celebration was short-lived. They still had to face the new regulations. They still had to find a way to save their shared home. The real fight was just beginning. The station council hearing was scheduled for 3 days later. Maya spent every hour organizing support for her restaurant. She asked customers to come and speak about what the pizza shop meant to them. Lyrelei had been officially exiled from the Elven delegation, but she did not feel sad. Instead, she felt free. For the first time in her long life, she could speak her true thoughts without worrying about diplomatic rules. I want to testify at the hearing, she told Maya. Are you sure? Maya asked. You'll be speaking against your own people's wishes. They stopped being my people when they chose hate over understanding, Lyrelei said. Zara had been quiet since learning about the hearing. She understood that if the restaurant closed, she would have nowhere to go. No other place on the station welcomed refugees like her. The morning of the hearing, the 3 women walked to the council chambers together. Maya wore her best dress. Lyrelei had borrowed human clothes since she could no longer wear her diplomatic robes. Zara's wings shimmered with nervous energy. The council chamber was packed. On one side sat business owners who supported the new regulations. They wore expensive clothes and looked confident. On the other side sat Maya's customers, aliens of every shape and size, along with some humans who believed in diversity. Council Chairman Douglas Webb called the meeting to order. He was a middle-aged human with tired eyes and gray hair. "We're here to discuss the cultural purity regulations," he announced. "First, we'll hear from supporters." A woman in a sharp business suit stood up. "I'm Catherine Ross, representing the New Geneva Business Association. These regulations are necessary to maintain order. When different species mix freely, it creates chaos and confusion. Customers don't know what to expect, standards decline." Several other business owners spoke next. They talked about property values and customer comfort. They used careful words, but their message was clear. Aliens were bad for business. Then Chairman Webb called on Maya. Maya stood up slowly. Her hands shook a little, but her voice was steady. "My name is Maya Thompson. I own Earthside Pizza in the lower district. For 3 months, I've watched beings from across the galaxy share meals at my tables. I've seen Corvin traders teach human children about their home worlds. I've watched Pleiadian families help elderly humans carry their groceries. I've seen refugees find hope when they thought all hope was lost." She paused and looked around the room. "The people who support these regulations talk about chaos and confusion, but I've seen something different. I've seen understanding. I've seen friendship. I've seen the future we could build together if we choose courage over fear." When Maya sat down, Zara stood up. The council chamber fell silent. Most people had never heard a Zephyrian speak before. Zara began to sing. Her voice rose and fell like wind through trees. The melody was sad at first, telling the story of her destroyed world. Then it grew hopeful as she sang about finding safety and kindness among strangers. Even people who could not understand her words felt the emotion in her song. Some council members wiped away tears. When Zara finished, she spoke in halting station language. "Maya, give me home. Give me hope. No want money. No want power. Only want safe place. Place where different peoples become family." The chamber was completely quiet for a long moment. Then Chairman Webb called Lyralai to speak. Lyralai walked to the front of the room. She could see Ambassador Sylvanus in the audience, watching her with cold anger. "My name is Lyralai Starweaver," she began. "Until 3 days ago, I was a diplomatic attaché for the Elven Trade Council. I came to this station to study human weaknesses for my government's report." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "Instead, I discovered human strength. Not the strength of weapons or technology, but the strength of character. I watched humans choose kindness when they could have chosen suspicion. I watched them build bridges when they could have built walls." She turned to face the business owners who supported the regulations. "You say that mixing species creates chaos. But I have lived for over 150 years, and I have learned something important. The only chaos comes from fear. The only confusion comes from refusing to try to understand each other." Lyralai's voice grew stronger. "The Elven Council believes that purity makes us strong. But sitting in that pizza shop, sharing meals with beings from across the galaxy, I felt stronger than I ever have before. Because I was part of something bigger than myself. I was part of a community that chose love over fear." She looked directly at Ambassador Sylvanus. "My own people have cast me out for speaking these words. They say I am a traitor to my race, but I would rather be a traitor to prejudice than a loyal servant to hate." When Lyralai sat down, the chamber erupted. Some people clapped loudly. Others shouted angry words. Chairman Webb had to bang his gavel to restore order. The council voted immediately. 5 members voted to keep the regulations. 4 voted to remove them. Maya's heart sank. They had lost. But then Chairman Webb stood up again. "The vote is tied," he said. "As chairman, I cast the deciding vote, and I vote to reject the cultural purity regulations." The chamber exploded with cheers and boos. Maya hugged Lyralai and Zara, tears streaming down her face. But their celebration was interrupted by a commotion outside. Through the windows, they could see a crowd gathering in the station plaza. Someone was shouting through a speaker. "These aliens are taking our jobs," the voice called. "They're corrupting our children. We won't let them destroy human culture." The crowd was getting bigger and angrier. Signs reading humans first and aliens go home waved above their heads. Commander Lisa Park appeared at Maya's side. "There's going to be trouble," she said. "The crowd is heading toward your restaurant. My security team is spread thin across the station. I don't have enough people to protect everyone." Maya felt fear rise in her throat. "What should we do?" "Get to the restaurant," Lisa said. "Lock the doors and wait for help." Maya, Lyrelay, and Zara ran through the station corridors. Behind them, they could hear the angry crowd getting closer. When they reached the pizza shop, they found Pete and Corvin and the Pleiadian family already there, along with a dozen other regular customers. "We came to help," Pete said. "Whatever happens, we're in this together." Maya locked the door just as the crowd arrived outside. Angry faces pressed against the windows. Someone threw a rock that cracked the glass. "Open up!" voices shouted. "Send those aliens back where they came from!" Maya looked around at her friends, human and alien alike, all scared but standing together. She thought about everything they had built in this small restaurant. She thought about the community that had grown around shared meals and mutual respect. Then she had an idea that was either very brave or very stupid. She unlocked the door and stepped outside. The angry crowd fell silent when Maya stepped outside. She stood alone in front of her restaurant, facing 50 people who wanted to shut her down. "What are you doing?" Lyrelay called from the doorway. "Something I should have done sooner," Maya said. She looked at the crowd. Many faces showed anger, but she also saw fear and confusion. "You're angry," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "I understand that. Change is scary. When you see different species living together, it can feel like everything you know is disappearing." "Damn right!" someone shouted. "These aliens are taking over." "Are they?" Maya asked. "Or are they just trying to live their lives same as you?" She walked closer to the crowd. Some people stepped back, but others stayed to listen. "6 months ago, I was just like you. I was afraid of aliens. I thought they were too different, too strange. I thought mixing with them would make humans weaker." "Then why did you open this place?" asked a woman near the front. "Because I was wrong," Maya said simply. "And being wrong taught me something important. Fear makes us stupid. It makes us mean. It makes us hurt people who never did anything to us." A man in work clothes pushed forward. "My wife lost her job to an alien worker. They work for less money. How is that fair?" Maya nodded. "That's not fair. But the problem isn't the alien worker trying to feed his family. The problem is companies that exploit everyone, human and alien alike. We should be working together to fix that, not fighting each other." She gestured toward her restaurant. "In there, I have a Corvin trader who brings rare spices that help my business. I have a human engineer who keeps my equipment running. I have a Zephyrian refugee who has nothing to give except friendship and hard work. They all help each other because they've learned something important." "What's that?" asked a young human woman. "That we're stronger together than apart," Maya said. From inside the restaurant, Zara began to sing. Her voice carried through the broken window, a sad, beautiful melody about loss and hope. "That's the song of her people," Maya explained. "Her whole world was destroyed in war. She's one of maybe 100 survivors in the entire galaxy. And you know what she does? She helps me bake bread every morning. She smiles at children. She tries to learn our language so she can talk to us." The crowd was listening now. The anger was still there, but it was mixed with curiosity. "You want to know what I learned from aliens?" Maya continued. "The Corvin taught me that courage means protecting those weaker than yourself. The Pleiadians taught me that family isn't just about blood. It's about who you choose to care for. And Zara taught me that hope can survive. Anything if you don't give up on it." A middle-aged man near the back called out, "But what about human culture? What about our traditions?" Maya smiled. "You mean traditions like hospitality? Like helping strangers? Like believing that all people are created equal? Those aren't disappearing. I'm living them every day." She stepped closer to the crowd again. "I know you're scared. I know change is hard, but I'm asking you to try something. Come inside. Meet these people you're afraid of, share a meal with them, listen to their stories. If you still think they're dangerous after that, I'll respect your opinion." For a long moment, nobody moved. Then the young woman who had asked about learning stepped forward. "I'll try," she said. An older man followed her, then another person. One by one, members of the crowd began walking toward the restaurant. Not everyone came. About half the protesters left, still angry, but the others followed Maya inside. The restaurant was packed. Humans and aliens sat together at every table. Maya and her friends served pizza to everyone, protesters and supporters alike. No one paid. Everyone ate. At first, the conversations were awkward. People didn't know what to say to each other, but food has a way of breaking down barriers. Soon, humans were asking aliens about their home worlds. Aliens were learning about Earth customs. The middle-aged man who had worried about human culture found himself talking to Corvin about farming techniques. The woman whose wife had lost her job was getting career advice from a Pleiadian engineer. Most surprisingly, several protesters were gathered around Zara, listening to her sing songs from her destroyed world. When she finished, they applauded. "I thought aliens were all the same," one man admitted to Maya. "I never realized they were so different from each other, and so much like us at the same time." As the evening went on, Commander Lisa Park arrived with her security team. She expected to find a riot. Instead, she found the biggest dinner party in station history. "What happened here?" she asked Maya. "People got to know each other," Maya said. "Turns out that's all it usually takes." 3 months later, the pizza shop was busier than ever. The protest had made galactic news. Maya's story of turning enemies into friends had inspired similar efforts across known space. Lyralay had officially joined the business as Maya's partner. She used her diplomatic skills to help other species understand each other better. Her exile from the elves had been lifted when younger elven leaders spoke out against the old prejudices. Zara had become the station's first Zephyrian cultural liaison. She helped other refugees adjust to life on New Geneva. Her people's musical language was being taught in schools as an art form. The station council had not only rejected the cultural purity regulations, they had passed new laws protecting diversity and refugee rights. 3 other mixed-species restaurants had opened in different districts. On the anniversary of the protest, Maya organized the first annual Unity Day celebration. Hundreds of beings from dozens of species gathered in the station plaza to share food and stories. Maya stood on a small stage, looking out at the crowd. A year ago, she had been a scared human who thought differences were dangerous. Now she was, surrounded by friends from across the galaxy. "A year ago, someone asked me what I learned from aliens," she said into the microphone. "Today, I have a different answer. I didn't learn anything from aliens. I learned from people. People who happened to come from different worlds, but who shared the same hopes and dreams as everyone else." She paused as the crowd cheered. "We proved something important here. We proved that fear is a choice. We proved that understanding is possible. We proved that the future doesn't have to be about us versus them. It can be about all of us together." In the audience, Lyralay stood next to Zara and Pete and Corvin and dozens of others who had become family through shared meals and mutual respect. She thought about her old life as an elven diplomat, always keeping distance and maintaining superiority. This life was messier, it was noisier, it was more complicated. It was also more beautiful than anything she had ever imagined. As Maya finished her speech and the crowd began to celebrate, Lyralay realized the truth of the story's title. Sharing pizza with an alien stranger, or in her case, sharing pizza as an alien stranger, really had changed everything. She would never be the same. None of them would. And that was exactly what they had hoped for when they first chose kindness over fear, understanding over prejudice, and community over isolation. The pizza shop hummed with conversation and laughter as beings from across the galaxy continued to discover what Maya had known from the beginning, that the best way to build bridges between worlds is to share a meal and listen to each other's stories. In the kitchen, a new batch of pizza was coming out of the oven. There were always more people to feed, more connections to make, more hope to share. The future was delicious.